All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to dive in.
Awesome. So today we're tackling the law of contrast in design.
Ooh, yeah, this is a good one.
It really is. It's one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. We found there's a great excerpt on it, and it's fascinating how much it influences what we notice, without even realizing it.
Totally. It's like designers are using this secret code to direct our attention.
Exactly. So our mission today is to crack that code. Figure out what the law of contrast really is and how it's used to make certain things just pop visually. And get this, the excerpt jumps right into animation as like the most impactful form of contrast. And I get it, movement catches your eye, right?
For sure. I mean, think about it. Back in the day, our ancestors, they had to be super aware of movement, right? Predator in the bushes, you got to notice that, or your lunch.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But is that all it is? Like, are we just hardwired to notice movement because of some ancient survival instinct?
Well, yeah, there's definitely that evolutionary aspect, but I think it goes deeper than that. In today's world, we're bombarded with so much visual information, right? Static images, text everywhere, it's a lot. So when something moves, it instantly breaks through all that noise. Like, it demands your attention.
I see what you mean. So it's not just about survival anymore. It's about standing out in a crowded visual landscape.
Exactly. And designers know that. That's why you see so much animation on websites and in apps now.
Right. Those subtle animations, like a button that pulses or an image that slides across the screen. It's not like some cheesy flashing banner ad. It's more sophisticated.
Right. It's subtle. It's about creating a sense of dynamism and engagement. And it kind of plays on our natural curiosity, right? We see something moving and we want to know what's going to happen next.
Oh, I totally do that. Like, if I see a little animation on a website, I'm more likely to click on it.
See?
Yeah.
It works. It's drawing you in.
Okay, so animation, that's a big one. What about color contrast? The excerpt mentions a red element on a black and white background. Pretty classic example.
Yeah, that's super basic, but it gets the point across. But color contrast can get really interesting when you start thinking about how different color combinations create different moods or feelings.
You mean like how green might make you think of nature or red can feel like danger?
Yeah, exactly. We have all these subconscious associations with colors, and designers know how to use that to their advantage.
Wow. It's like color contrast is this whole other language we're not even aware of.
It is. Think about a website that sells luxury goods, right? They might use black and gold to create a sense of sophistication and elegance. Or a children's toy website. They might use bright primary colors to evoke playfulness. It's all very intentional.
So it's not just about making things stand out. It's about using color to tell a story or evoke a specific emotion.
Bingo.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. So animation, color, what's next?
Size. I mean, this one's kind of obvious, right? Bigger things tend to grab our attention more.
Yeah, like a billboard. You can't miss that.
But here's the thing, and the excerpt makes this point. Size can actually be overridden by other forms of contrast. Like a tiny little icon, if it's brightly colored and animated, it can actually attract more attention than a larger static gray element.
Really? So it's not always about going big.
Not necessarily. It's about understanding how all these principles work together. Sometimes subtlety can be more effective than just, shouting at people with giant headlines.
Makes sense. And this whole thing with size, it makes me think about website design. Like how they make a call to action button slightly bigger, but they also give it a contrast in color so it really jumps out at you.
Exactly. It's all about guiding the user's eye to where you want them to go.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got animation, we've got color contrast, we've got size. What else is there?
Alignment contrast. This one's about breaking patterns.
So it's not just about things being bigger or brighter, it's about where they are on the page, how they relate to other elements.
You got it. Think about a navigation menu where all the items are neatly aligned to the left. But then one item is suddenly centered. Your eye goes straight to that, right? That disruption in the pattern.
Yeah, it's like that one puzzle piece that's flipped the wrong way. It just stands out.
And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as that. Even just a slight shift in alignment can be enough to create visual interest and direct attention.
And even though it's more subtle than, say, animation or color, it can still be super effective.
Absolutely. It's a great way to create hierarchy and emphasize important elements without being too in your face.
Cool. So we've covered a lot, but I noticed the excerpt also mentions angle and shape contrast. Are those just like bonus rounds of contrast, or do they really play a big role in design?
I'd say they're more specialized tools, but they can be powerful when used strategically. Like, imagine a website where most of the images are rectangular. Then, boom, a circular image. That unusual shape, it draws the eye.
Okay, I can see that.
Or think about product packaging. Rows and rows of standard-shaped bottles, and then one with a unique angled design. It just stands out.
Subtle but effective. This has been really eye-opening. I never realized how much thought goes into something as seemingly simple as contrast.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
And it's all around us. Now that you're aware of these principles, start noticing how contrast is used in the world around you. Websites, advertising, even nature. You'll be surprised at how much you start to see.
I know I will. And you know what? I bet our listeners are already thinking about how they can use contrast to emphasize things in their own work.
Right.
Whether you're designing a website, a presentation, even just writing an email.
Absolutely. Understanding these principles empowers you to communicate more effectively visually.
So there you have it, folks. The law of contrast. Not just a design principle, but a secret language of visual communication.
We cracked the code.
We did. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.